Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video we are looking at the Joyo Vintage Overdrive pedal again. But this time we're putting it through the Orange Dark Terror here. So I've dialed in just a light distortion through the Orange Dark Terror, and I'm keen to see what characteristics are created when adding this Vintage Overdrive to it. So I've got the Orange Dark Terror going into my load box. And then what I've decided to do is Frightbox Academy, which is a YouTube channel that does lots of production stuff, gave away some free IRs, some impulse responses or speaker emulators. So I'm really keen to see how that's going to match up with all this as well. So let's put it all together and see what happens. And just like all my videos, it's a bit of a jam, and we'll see how it all marries up together. So Vintage Overdrive with Orange Dark Terror and the Frightbox Academy's IR pack. Now I have everything set up ready to go. Let's grab my Jackson guitar here. And this is what it sounds like, just the Orange Dark Terror by itself. So not too bad, but you can definitely get more grunt out of it as it is, but for the purpose of this video, we want to push the Vintage Overdrive here. So, move my hot drink. Let's engage this, and it's got a little bit of volume. So this is with no drive. So it definitely has a slight little change. Let's move that out of the way. So let's give it a little bit of drive and just see. Bit more drive. Crank the drive. So it definitely alters the sound quite a bit actually. Let's give it a little bit more volume to see if we can kind of push what's actually being put into the Orange Dark Terror. Starting to get a bit of hiss coming through, that's okay. Let's dial back the gain a little bit. Oh, the drive, sorry, I've been saying gain, it's actually a drive knob. Let's try adding a little bit more tone to it. That makes a huge difference in a positive way. So just a quick A-B comparison. a bit more drive. Quick A-B comparison again. So the difference is, I feel it's big, but trying to explain to someone that's not so much into tone chasing like we are. Might not be able to see the difference between those two. Oh, see the difference, hear the difference between those two. So what I might do is take a little bit of a step away from the camera now, because like all things, you can delve a little bit more into it, because arguably I could actually delve into this now that we've got something coming pretty decent off the Vintage Overdrive and kind of find a really nice balance here. But that could take a little bit too long and doesn't really, I think we can make the point easily enough with what we're working with. So I'll take a little bit of time away from the camera. Think about what I'm going to jam. Then I'll do two jams. I'll do one with it engaged and one with it disengaged. So you can really hear the difference between to see how much oomph, very technical term, oomph, the Vintage Overdrive is giving to the Orange Dark Terror here. So sit back, relax, enjoy the tune, and I'll see you all on the other side. Time for some final thoughts about matching up the Joyo Vintage Overdrive with the Orange Dark Terror here. Also matched up with the Frightbox Academy IR pack as well. So, yeah, a few things to say. Firstly, I really like the characteristics that this brought to the table, adding it to the Dark Terror here. There's not much actually you can muck around with it on this, but I also feel like you really don't need to. The drive, we didn't need to push it that hard. The tone, I really enjoyed it more when I pushed out the tone. So definitely dialing that pretty hot. Gave it that top end and really opened up those frequencies to clean up what I feel like sometimes the Dark Terror can get, I would say a little bit, not so much muddy, but definitely has a gloomier type of characteristic to it, which I felt this actually cleaned up and kind of worked around that really well. So that was really nice. And also that was, I felt the strongest while I was actually playing and jamming, that little jam there. Playing along with this on, I could really feel the notes come more alive on the guitar and really feel like I could bring more characteristics to it. Where this just felt a little bit lacking, the Dark Terror just on its own, with the settings I had. Now, that's a very important thing, is the settings I had, because I didn't push the gain that high on this to actually give this little pedal a chance to really shine more. And I think that really reflects the most in the jam, because in that last part of the jam, this was actually cutting off notes a little bit too early because it wasn't saturated enough. And as you can see, like the gain's pretty much at high noon, which I normally dial that in stronger than that if I was to use this to its, more to its strengths, I think is the best way to describe it. And that's that sweet spot that kind of this brought together, given that saturation, just that enough there to bring those chords and that alive enough and not so dry they cut off a little bit too early, which I felt was what happened when I did just the Dark Terror by itself. So lots of fun. I am a big advocate of playing to the actual sounds that I'm hearing, which is a big thing in all my videos and anything I really do in the studio as well. Because I could easily just DI a clean signal and reamp it coming in and out and just give you the two sounds with exactly the same performance on guitar, but then you lose out on actually seeing what characteristics as a guitar player brings to the table. So yeah, I definitely felt it when this was on compared to when it wasn't. So also too, before I quickly wrap things up, is the Frightbox Academy's IR set. I reckon that worked out really well with all this put together as well. So definitely a shout out to them because they did really, really well. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description below. So if you want to check out their channel and what they do, there's an easy way to do it just by clicking a button. I've never spoken to them personally or one-on-one, so like all my videos so far to date, none of these have been endorsed or sponsors, but yeah, they do some really cool stuff, and well, you kind of give credit where it's due. And in saying that, I'll definitely give credit to all this, to Joyo with this Vintage Overdrive and Orange with that, and the Frightbox Academy's IR set too. They can all have credit for it because they all worked out really well together. So in saying that though, what are your thoughts? How did you feel about while I was dialing in the Vintage Overdrive here? Do you feel like the characteristics were better? Or do you think I gave away too much of, say for example, maybe the bottom richness that the Dark Terror gives off, or any other type of characteristics that you felt were better before I turned this on, or while I was dialing? Do you think I came up with something really good and then moved away from it too quickly? Or have you had experience with these with other amp heads, and how do you feel about how it reacts if you have had a chance to muck around with this? So definitely keen for your thoughts and to continue this conversation in the comments. And in saying that, I'll do my usual sign off now because there's not much else to really cover in this other than it was lots of fun. And also, if you want to hear the original track that I jammed on here, because I recorded that a couple of years ago with my band Shadows at Bay. I'll leave the link in there so you can listen to that for free as well. And thank you very much for sticking around this long and being a part of this conversation, because they're lots of fun putting these videos now together, and yeah. And I just had a brain freeze there for a second. Just, unfortunately, something that happens with my stutter, where I have trouble getting words out sometimes, and I just catch myself out like then, where I had in my mind exactly what I wanted to say, just couldn't push the words out. But we pursue and we push on. So now I'll do my usual sign off. Whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I absolutely appreciate your company and being a part of these conversations. And I really look forward to more conversations with you all. And until next time, please stay safe.